What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is. This is Photoshop tutorial and I'm going to be showing you how to edit your portrait. Alright, so quite a couple of things we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be setting or correcting the exposure, we're going to be correcting the skin color variation, and we're going to be adding some color grading and doing some frequency separation. So these are the things we're going to be doing. So let's start with the first one, correcting the exposure. I'm just gonna come right here and then click on the adjustment layer, and there are many you can actually use: the exposure, curve, levels, brightness. These three actually you can use. You can also use the hue and saturation, the lightness. Alright, so these are grouped here because they actually worked the same, but I'm gonna use the brightness. As you can see, let's bring it back a little so we can see what we're doing. Now take note of this side and this side. I just want to bring down the brightness and nothing more till we have more details. So somewhere around 30 looks fine to me and I'm going to close that right away. So we have this and this. Don't worry, we're going to bring the rest up when the time comes. Alright, so now the next things to do is to create another adjustment layer to correct the variation in the skin color. So you can look at the top right, this side and this side, and under our nose you can see some yellow greenish color. So I'm going to correct that. Let's click on the adjustment layer, hue and saturation, and then I'm going to click on this slider tool and let's select the yellow that is around. Let's select somewhere here so you can see it's selected yellow. For us to be sure, we can increase the saturation and you can see that those places are actually selected. Alright, so I'm going to click back, make this one 0 back, and this time around let's adjust it to taste. So we're going to bring the hue, change the hue of that till we get the same color as that of the nose. So you can see everything is reddish compared to before. You have some greens and now we have this one, but it's actually reddish. I wish we can fix that later, but let's zoom out and let's see what we have. Now we have the same skin color, only some parts we don't want it to look like. So since we have that, we can also create another one, and this time around let's use selective color, and I can see some red. So I'm going to go to the red and we can tweak this and we can add some yellows to the red. We can decrease the cyan or the magenta, the cyan, and till we get the skin tone type of feel. So this looks okay to me, and let's see, try and increase the yellows, and for the black let's see, to taste. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this, and I think that's looking nice. Just the yellows, so we can see the before compared to before and after. Let's create a stand visible layer, and I'm going to work on this one. Now I'm going to group this one, shift to here, group it together, and so turn it off. But this one I'm going to do some kind of little frequency separation. Of course we know that this stuff, but instead of us doing that, let's just use the quick one, which is the spot healing tool brush, and I'm going to increase the size of the brush, and I'm just going to click on where we see spots and all of that. Okay, so just like that, and those spots are actually gone. Let's see on our forehead, you can quickly dab on all of that, and Photoshop is going to do that for us. Instead of going the long way doing some frequency separation, you can actually remove all this strand of hair with just a simple click, and this distracting part of the hair, boom, it's gone. This one, boom, gone, and then this one, boom, gone. And for the eyes we can also do the same, boom, gone. No one's going to notice that after all, so let's just click that and then click that. But no, it's just a fast one. You can actually use frequency separation for all of that. So I'm just going to do this. See that it's not going to work there, so just where you can actually make it work. So let's just leave it like that. Nobody will actually notice all of that. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's make some. That's actually we would have done frequency separation, but we'll just use the spot healing tool. Now I want to get the picture where it want to be. You can use camera raw filter, you can use the color balance too, but for this one I'm going to start with the curves first of all, and let's see the histogram. So we can bring this all the way up just like so, and I'm gonna close it. It's just a little bit. Now create a stem visible layer, and then this time around let's go to camera raw filter. So camera raw filter, and here we are in the camera raw filter. So a few things we're going to do, which is let's try and use the white balance, although I'm okay with this one, but we can actually use the white balance to check if we can use it. Ctrl Z, let's look at this side, and let's see the before and after for that. So I really prefer the before, so I'm actually going to undo that, and let's see. Let's turn it off. Okay, so you can go back, and then let's change it to a short, and we're back. Okay, so now for the highlight, I'm just gonna bring it up a little and bring down the white till I have more uniform luminosity there. Let's bring up the highlight, and be careful, this is actually going to affect this side. So enough of that. We can bring back the shadows to create more contrast, and the blacks and we can increase the shadows. Okay, now this image actually looks flat. Okay, it's actually still on before and after. I'm just going to bring it back. Okay, now we're back. All right, so let's see what we made changes for. I think that is okay. For the shadows, I'm going to bring it down and see if we can create some shadows, and then take it up. So the best one is actually to bring it back a little bit, and for the blacks, let's see, bringing it up or bringing it down. But the photo is actually just too flat, but I'm going to try to maintain it like that. Let's increase the texture to get more texture from our face. I think that is actually okay for me. I'm going to go to the vibrance and then give it a little bit vibrance. Okay, so the texture is actually getting too much, so let's bring it down a little to make it look real. All right, so on the curves layer, let's create an X curve. I believe X curve, that's too much. X curve usually work fine. Then bring this one down a little, just like that. X curve. I'm going to close it, and then let's move further to the color mixer, and then this is where things get a little bit interesting. Okay, so I'm going to increase the lightness of the orange, just because it won't affect this whiter part, the orange and the yellows and the white. Let's try and bring it, brighten it up, and let's change the hue of the red. Let's go to the hue, and let's change the hue of the red towards the orange, and I don't want the reddish kind of feel. The orange, we can actually take it towards the yellows. Or if you take it towards, it's gonna look reddish. I don't want the orange to look reddish. I want it to look like the oranges, and then the yellow, make it look more yellowish. The green too, we can actually change it, but there's some green here, so no need for changing the hue. We have some blues, and I'm going to decrease the saturation of the blues and the aquas, just because I'm seeing it right on the clothes. So let's desaturate that a little to get the white, more white feeling. All right, so for that, I think I'm going to increase the saturation of the oranges and the yellows, and let's try the red also. So that looks okay to me. 12, 11. Let's see for the orange. Yeah, I think that looks okay. 34. And let's see where it's affecting the red, which is our lips. I'm going to leave it like that. 58. And for the yellows, let's just leave it somewhere around here. Okay, so that's for that. Let's close the color mixer, and let's go to the last part, which is calibration. And for the calibration, actually she's fair, so I'm going to increase the hue of the red to this, just because it just creates, you know, kind of a feel I love the most. So this is actually too much, but let's leave it at 27. Let's take it back to 27, so the 2 will be 27, 27. I'm going to bring this back also 20 and 20. So let's find a green sweet spot for the greens. So I believe this place is actually, just looking at the photo, and we can work with the saturation, decrease the saturation of the red, or increase the saturation and see where it's actually getting interesting. So I'm going to increase the saturation of the red and also increase, let's see, decreasing the saturation of the blues. It's actually going to affect the photo, so I'm not going to increase saturation. Let's just find a sweet spot for that. And I'm looking at the pics while doing the edit, so you can as well do that. Okay, this saturation is actually too much. Okay, so for the greens, yeah, so I don't want the saturation to be, too much for that. So I'm going to leave it like this, and we can click on OK. And so here we have the final image, and then boom. So from this to this. Alright, so that's not actually all. We can do some dodging and burning. So let's create the curves, and I'm going to create two curves, one for dodging, one for burning. So right click on this one, and just going to do a quick work, bring this one all the way down like this, and then I'm going to take this one and then take it all the way up like this. Okay, so let me start with the dodging. Invert the mask, click on the brush tool, and then I'm going to bring down the hardness, and let's see, decreasing the size of the brush. Take the brush, and I'm going to increase the size a little bit, and then dab on it like this, and I can see there's a shadow here, and then this side I'm just going to go around that chin, and then down right here and right here for a perfect smile. I'm going to increase the brush size, and then this side. So I'm just trying to get image stand where it is, so somewhere here, and then on the air and on the ends. I'm trying to create dimension. If you know what dimension is, Ctrl Z. I think that would be on a cheek. Yeah, so somewhere like this. And I'm going to go to Windows, Properties, and I'm going to feather it out and decrease the opacity to 50%. So let's feather it out a little bit, yeah, to where we don't see it, and then decrease the opacity. But let's just leave that first of all, and then this one I'm going to invert the mask, Ctrl I, and let's see, so decrease, and then dodge and burn. So I'm going to click on the cheek, below our chin, and then this side, and this side, and this side, and this side, and this side. So just mainly where you want. So I'm just trying to create dimension. Alright, so yeah, and yeah, and yeah. Alright, so now let's go to Windows, Properties, and feather it out just like that. Let's still feather it out, not too much, and I'm gonna hit. So you can actually also use the blending mode to make things, remove things from the brighter side, but I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna decrease the opacity after all, just where we see it a little bit. So let's see before and then after. So just a little bit dimension. I don't think this one has properties, but let's see. Properties of the group, there's no property. Alright, so let's leave that as it is. Now last thing, let's use the color balance adjustment layer, and for that I'm going to go to the shadows first of all, and you can actually add in some cyan to color grade, or you maybe add some blues. I think I add some red rather, and go towards the magenta, or goes towards, yeah, towards the magenta, and we can go towards the green, the blue, sorry. Why do I keep measuring wrong colors? Okay, so something different from before. All right, so you can see that I'm just trying to achieve a natural skin feel. This is looking mornish. I don't want morning feel. We're just doing some color grading, and you know, the one that best suits the photo. I'm gonna leave that. I don't want the more red. I just want something natural. So let's go to the highlight and let's add some blues. +5, and take this towards the green. Just a little bit blend of all those colors, and let's see before and then after. All right, so I'm just looking at the photo and I'm making those adjustments so you can see before and then you can see after. All right, so let's give it some vibrance, a little bit of vibrance somewhere like that, and create a stem visible layer. Shift Control and hit E, and I can group all these together again, group them, and then I can turn it off, and let's see this before and after. Let's see where we've been coming from. So from this to this. All right, so you can see the progress we actually made. But one last thing is to brighten up our face. I'm going to use the curve for that, and I'm going to brighten her face up, just her face, so somewhere like that. Then I'm going to invert it, and then let's pick up the brush, and we're going to dab on her face, then click on this side to brighten up her face and some of her ends. Okay, so doing that makes the image stand out. Okay, now one last, I keep saying one last thing, some things keep coming to my mind. Let's use this hue and saturation, and I want to work on the lips, so let's increase the saturation just like that, and I will change the hue till I get the reddish feel on the lips. So Control I, and then let's zoom in on the lips, and then bring this and then paint over it, so something like that. Decrease and then paint over it, so something like that. All right, now I'm going to create another one, hue and saturation, and I'm going to work towards the blues. Let's see how to make the blue, the bluish feel. All right, let's reset it and go to the blues straight away. So the blues, let's increase the blues. Yeah, not too much, just a little bit like that. Invert it, and then let's go to the eyeball and then paint on that and paint on this, and then decrease the opacity to where we see it just a little bit. Okay, so this one also, we can actually decrease the opacity just a bit, and we have this natural feel. Okay, so we can also create an exposure and then increase the gamma like so we have before then after. Okay, but let's increase the gamma, and I want it to be, invert the mask, Control I, and make this bigger. So I want it to be on the shirt and this side and back of our hair, so something like that. Sorry, let me drag it back. Okay, so this side and more like this side. Make a face. I'm going to decrease the opacity also, somewhere like 50, and we're done. So if you enjoyed the video, kindly like the video. If you find something helpful, hit the like button, share the video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, shift to this side and then group it, and we can create a stem visible layer again. And after that, I'm going to turn this off and turn this off. So let's check our overall. So before and then after, before and then after. All right, so see you guys in the next video. Thank you.